Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. And today we're going to discuss the new transit of Mars. Mars going to Virgo, and it's very positive transit. I would say we all waited for this moment for quite some times. I think it's one of the best positions for really since last summer. And I'm going to discuss with you. I'm going to explain to you really how it's going to affect all 12 signs. Just to remind you, you always can check on your rising and your moon, but it really depends on your natal chart. So I will give you kind of against hands up perspective, really what's stronger in your chart. If, for example, moon in your chart holding lowest degree, so it's mean the moon, it's more powerful than your rising. If your rising holding lower degrees, you better to check first on the rising. But again, rising and moon both you can to check because rising it represents your ego, it represents your active nature, and really how you gonna affect how this Mars gonna affect you in outside world, in your business, in your activity. And moon, it still represent, it's represent your emotions, your subconscious level as well. And Mars, because Mars is going to be in Virgo, Virgo represented by Mercury, it's connect to subconscious level as well. So definitely check both. Now, another very important point I want to make, if your Mars in your natal chart, actually your own Mars in Virgo, extremely important transit for you. So it's not just for your rising and for moon, it's going to be if you're rising in Virgo, your moon in Virgo, it's still very important if you're Mars. Same thing for all of you guys. Every time when I'm going to make announcement for specific sign, it can connect for the three different energetical forces in your chart, your rising, your moon, and as well your own natal chart Mars, if you're Mars in a specific sign. So definitely check, because I'm going to explain in more depth, and then I'm going to share with you sky. We're going to together observe and see what's really happening in the sky. Now, to explain to you really the foundation, the basis of the Mars, especially what's really from the eyes of Kabbalistic knowledge, right? Mars in Kabbalah called Ma'adim. And if you saw one of my videos I made last year, was very in depth about Mars, I'm gonna put this link under my video. Definitely you can watch as well. I explain even in more details everything about the nature of the Mars, what really Mars represent. But in a nutshell, Mars, it's a planet Ma'adim, and it's created by letter Nun. Nun in Hebrew alphabet is the only letter which is going really deep down, even more than than Kaf, which is represent Pisces. It's going down, and it's called, it's going to the underworld. And one of the reasons, Mars, it's lord not just by Aries, it's partially lord by Scorpio. And the Scorpio, it's one of the signs which is knows how to go to underworld. And this we have Pluto as well, which is the king of underworld. So the letter Nun, it's very, very deep when you really understand the nature of the Mars, because Mars, it's really concealed. It's not that obvious how it's explained, perhaps by Western astrology. When they make announcement, then Mars, it's only malefic, or Mars represent, for example, male in female chart. It's not necessary the really truth, because in ancient, it's only what really represent male in female chart. It's Jupiter, not Mars. But again, Mars, extremely important planet. It's a really powerful planet. It's can work out miracles for us if we learn how to control the Mars energy, and especially, our reactive system, our nature. Mars really activate a lot of powerful energetical forces, which is what make us active, and it's actually directly connected to our desire. And we need to remember, desire is the foundation of our life in this dimension in Malchut, because is bigger our desire, is more we expand in our desire, and more light we can reveal. But it all really depends on the quality of desire. If we have a selfish desire, if the desire only to receive for the self alone, or we have actually desire when we can share the desire in order and for the sake for sharing, to improve the humanity and to improve your life. Because if you have a good life, if you're a happy person, if you're sharing person, This is very important for the creation, very, very important, right? So let's come back to this specific Mars transit. He's going to transit in Virgo in August 18. I'm going to share with you sky, and we're going to see exactly what's happening the day of 18, because it's the seed. We always have to remember the seed is extremely important. It's the moment of when child concealed by both parents, how it's concealed, what the thought of the both parents. This is what kind of soul they can attract. Same thing in an astrological world. Every time when we have a very important transit, very important event, we always need to see what's happening in the sky of the moment of the transit. And this is how we're going to experience as well. So we're going to look at it as well. So the Mars transit in Virgo from August 18 until October 3rd. So it's kind of a good long time for us to adapt to this energy. And as sooner we adapt, as more beneficial it's going to be for us. Because when, when we have a Mars in such a really positive location, we better prepare and really use this time window, because it's not necessary then actually it exists. If we don't connect, it will not make an effort, we're not going to benefit for it, right? So Mars transit to sign of Virgo, and it's which puts him in a position of new upgrades. It's a new routine. We can really improve our routine. We improve our health habits, because what is the Virgo? Virgo number one, Virgo represent healing. It represents really how we connect to our body. And Mars, it's the number one planet in our natal chart, which is represent the body parts. What kind of health we're going to have, how we're going to be affected. So Mars, it's another key and information. When every time when I look at person chart, I can say a lot of things about the person health, and as well how Mars interact with the Mercury. How is your subconscious nervous system work as well? Because remember, our nervous system directly connect to our overall well-being. How our body going to be balanced. Very, very important. And this particular transit can help us to destroy bad habits. It can help us with the new lessons, new planets. Let me just turn off my cell phone. And this shift of Mars from Leo, it was in Leo for some time, right, into Virgo, could result in a new transformation. We're going to really feel that we all waited for this moment. Like I said, it's abundance, more balanced energy, and especially needed for the months of Leo, because Sun entering just right now, it's entering in few days to sign of Leo. And when when we in a sign of Leo and Mars just exit from the Leo to more balanced sign, we're all going to feel in more balanced energy on a personal level. But again, it really depends on where the transit in your natal chart. We're going to discuss this for 12 signs. This transit Mars in Virgo can consider a gift from creation, because I consider this is the best time for the 40 days challenge. I talk a lot about the number 40, 40. In Kabbalistic terms, the cosmic window of the 40 days, when you're going to start some, so to say, challenge in order to improve your life, in order to improve your routine, your health habits, it's very important, because when you're holding the 40 days, you almost like you overcome certain obstacles and you own this energy. So this is why the 40 days is extremely important. Actually, there's programs, right? A lot of programs. I think in the different addictions facilities, they have some of them do have a 40 days program. Some of them do 28-day programs, but most of them do 40 days programs. So this is something for you really to consider. If, for example, you were planning to have a better morning routine, to wake up early, to go at night, because remember, our morning routines start night before. So this is really good period of time for us to write it down in your journal and to see what really what can improve your life, how you can improve your health. This is the best period of time. I really recommend for you. And when Mars was in Leo, he really definitely received a lot of pressure from Saturn. because he was aspecting Saturn. This is why what's happening in the world, we all felt in Mars was a little bit kind of out of control, the way how things was happening in the world when Mars was in Leo, right? And let's not forget the Rahu, because the Rahu and Jupiter's combined aspect from Aries, which is the Lord of Mars, is well, we can ignore because it's a lot of things happening in the cosmic energy. The the activation of aggressive energy as well, because really the cosmos universe want us to understand how this energy created by us and how the only us who can really improve, especially what's happened in the world. We can see what's happened with our Mother Earth, how it the animal kingdom abused for centuries already, and how the mineral kingdoms and vegetarian kingdom, how we really need to learn from scratch then how to nourish everything what we receive nourishment from, right? It's really, really important. And what a great time, to get perspective about what is working and what not working in your job, in your business, in your education process, how you study, and how you really maintain your health. Different, health programs you can assign yourself. You can start a different diet. Maybe you were looking to start intermediate lifestyle. I don't even call this diet. It's definitely lifestyle. And again, we need to remember the Saturn retrograde is asking of us. I promised you about the video. I'm going to post it, God willing, in tomorrow. It's been really a busy schedule with my sessions with the clients. And I almost finished the preparation for this video. Extremely, extremely important video because the Saturn right now in he's right now in retrograde, and he's retrograde in Aquarius, and we have until November 4th a lot of homework we have to do, and this is going to be exam day on November 4th. And by the way, Mars, it's so beautiful, going to help us how better to do our homework, which is the Saturn required of us. So we're going to discuss this as well. Now, another thing I want us to tell you, it's during this time in Virgo, Mars aspecting the Aries, right? And we should activate our desire, because Aries, it's one of the biggest sign of desire, because it's represent our head, it's our thought processes, where it's represent our chokhmah from the tree of life reality. So we should activate our desire. In Hebrew, it's called ratzon, and our courage, our resources, how to be ready for the next step, next move. So make sure that you are not coming from the place of frustration or despair, so to say. Choose choose the bigger picture always. The proactive. Always remember, when you want to approach somebody or you want to make some decisions, try to first zoom out, observe, and before you react, because the reactive behavior during this time not going to serve you. You're going to miss the opportunity. And often, with our discipline and proper planning, we can give the great results, because the discipline is part of the liberation, part of freedom. A lot of people really misunderstanding what's really freedom. Freedom, it's not it's anarchy and when you do whatever you want. No, the real freedom comes when you work with the law of creation, when you apply the rules of creation, and you're completely free, because you work with the creation, and everything what comes, you invite with grace, and you invite with full awareness. Very, very important. Okay. There's another thing I want to mention. During this transit, we need to identify our desires. It's not about just to have a desire. What is the quality of desire? What do we really want? And what we really need? We need to learn how to combine those two forces, because many times they're not really aligned together with what really we need and what we were. What we want, we need to forgive others, and we need to forgive ourselves, because sign of Virgo came to this world to open the heart and to learn how to forgive and how to be unconditional and how to accept other people, because we need to understand the energy of sign of Virgo. And one of the most powerful things we experience in the month of Virgo, it's called Yomei Tshuva, the month of repentance. This is when we're going deep inside and going inside of ourselves and only working on ourselves. We're not occupied at all about other people, what they do, how they behave. You understand? Because this is where real healing comes from. And we use this gift in this period of time, not just to feel, you know, when we're going through this transformation, it's not about to feel guilty or to feel bad about ourselves, which is Virgo energy can bring this very easily. One of the we can really miss the whole purpose of cosmic opportunity. So therefore, this is months of self-reflection, months of forgiveness. And while Mars here is going to help us because he's going to activate all this energy, we need to know, and we need to know how to work with this force of energy, right? Because the universe is always ready to support us in our important work. We need to show our commitment. First of all, commitment to ourselves, to our personal work. It's really, really important. Now, let's see what's happened. I'm going to share with you guys. Let's see what's happened in the sky at the moment of this transit. Okay, so look what's happening here. It's actually really, really interesting. We have, let's see, we have a moon at the moment of Mars transit. You see, this is August 18, and Mars still in 30 degree in Leo, but already touching the fixed sign direct sky Virgo. And what we have here, it's very interesting. We have Mercury conjunct Moon. Wow. It's actually, when Moon conjunct Mercury, our mental activities will be stimulated. It's making an excellent time to engage in writing projects and to put your thoughts in writing and self-reflecting journal. It's interesting. I was taking so funny. I didn't really saw this. I didn't put this. I just right now look it together with you. Oh my God. And oh, by the way, and Sun already in Leo since yesterday. My apology. And today I'm making video on 16, which is Rosh Chodesh, the new month, a new moon, and it's unbelievable energy as well. You know what, guys? Congratulations! It's actually really, really good. You probably felt for some time now, it's really hard to focus. It's really hard to put thoughts together because so much information coming from everywhere. And we almost like, I feel bombarding by so much information outside world and not that positive news coming. And it's as well, no matter how strong we are, it's affecting us because we start to feel certain uncertainty. But this is the trap of Satan. This is what he's trying to show us, the time of the most important cosmic time when we actually everything revealed to us. Now nothing gonna be hiding. Everything, whatever we see in the world, it's exactly reflection of our own behavior. All of us on our on our own personal level. So this particularly transit, and it's a beautiful, and we have already start for tomorrow. Let me start move just one day for tomorrow. They go moon's going to be in Virgo, while the Mars transit into Virgo. Okay, so we're going to combine our emotional, our subconscious level all together, our or chokhmah, together with our heart. Remember, heart in Hebrew, it's Lev, Lamed, Bet, numerology 32. And what we do have in numerology 32, heart, it's the most important part of our body. It's directly connected to the Creator. We have a DNA of the Hashem, of the Creator inside of our heart. We walk in God's. And number 32, we have a 10 sphirot, 10, 10 illuminations, 10 dimensions. And we have 22 Hebrew alphabet, right? Altogether 32. And what else we have in Lev, Lamed Bet? We have a Torah, the first letter starts with Bet and last with Lamed, right? I always remind us this because we need to understand how big we are, how amazing we are, how much knowledge we have inside of us, and how much divine we have inside of us. We just need to start to use it more and more. And this particular transit, I feel It's gonna give us so much support, guys. I'm gonna go right now with all 12 signs, and we're gonna review together, one by one. I'm gonna post it under video, what time for each sign. So I'm gonna help you to navigate where we're going. But while I'm gonna do that, definitely observe the sky. Look how many things happening. What's happened with Rahu? What's happened with Ketu? Right, the lunar nodes. It's really, really important. They all, because the whole sky right now going to provide us so much information for this, until October 3rd. We're going to reveal so many things about ourselves, especially it's going to be during the cosmic holidays. It's going to be during the Rosh Hashanah, during the Sukkot, Yom Kippur, if you celebrate. It's unbelievable, extremely important. So we're going to start with Aries. Now, Aries rising or moon, or maybe you have a Mars in Aries in your natal chart. A couple of things I want to remind you. From the natal chart perspective, Mars, it's in your first house, and you represent your first house in your eighth house. It's important for you to understand who you are as a Marsenian person, right? Because each of us understand Mars according to our natal chart. This is how we understand the Mars. And while your own it's your own lord in your planet, right? It's your own self identity, and it's self longevity, very important as well. I'm going to explain to you, for each sign, what body part you really, really need to pay attention, because Mars in Virgo going to trigger this particularly part of your body. You will need to pay extra attention and take care of a little bit more in order for you to prepare for the whole year to come. I always say, every time with Mars in Virgo, he's given us this particularly cosmic time window in order for us to go and heal a certain part of our body for what Mars really triggering in our natal chart, right? So it's a first house, it's a self, it's longevity, vitality, it's the total health, it's your appearance. It's really important, right? In eighth house, it represents areas for you as well. It's the house of Scorpio. It's connected to longevity as well. So if you have, for example, a rising, if you have Aries, or you have a Mars in Aries, this is another indication that you're going to live a long life. Not necessary without falling and to get some scars, it's the whole other point, but definitely you have a lot of support. And remember, because he's going to transit in your sixth house is the, in sixth house is the house of conflicts. It's is the direct house of Virgo. You really need to pay close attention to your digestive system, to your kidney, your large intensives, your colon system, your uterus, and your anus. It's really important, okay? And your production organs, by the way, as well, because of the eighth house. So this is really important for you to really pay close attention. And because it's Mars transit in Virgo can particularly influence for Aries individuals. You're really going to feel this transit. It may increase your work focus. You're going to be even more focused at work. For your health, because of the sixth house, you suddenly will feel urge to understand your body, your health even more, and your daily routine. It's extremely important areas, because sometimes you can be all over the place with so many thoughts and so much energy. So this particular transit definitely can help you. So definitely use this opportunity, and you may experience even higher level of productivity. I feel it's you're going to be more particularly about the details, which can benefit your professional life big time. And however, there may be also tendency toward perfectionism. So stay away to be way too much on the details too. So don't go from one extreme to another, right? And it's needed to you'll feel more balance between productivity and self-care. So while you're going to try to be very productive and really, really to be more on time and more in details, don't neglect your self-care. It's really important. This period of time for your areas to start any challenge with the exercise or really your routine, you're going to have a lot of success. So definitely don't miss this opportunity. Now we're going to go to Taurus. Dear Taurus, for you guys, it's going to be in your fifth house. And in your natal chart, it governs your 7, the house of marriage, and your 12th house, the house of losses, and house behind the scene in sleepy house as well. So for Taurus, it's really important house and relationship. And what we have right now, Taurus in the 7th house, we have right now Ketu, lunar node, right? And now you're going to have in your natal chart, it's represent partnership. And it represent as well your private parts, your glands, your low back, your renal system, and your adrenaline, your kidneys, very important as well. So definitely remember. And another thing I want to remind you, Taurus, because the 7th house, very important in your natal chart, it's a reflection of the 1st house, which is the looking in the back, behind the scene, the 1st house, which is Aries. So definitely this transit can help you with more creativity in your romance life and self-expression because of the 5th house. So for Taurus people, it may feel, like a surge of creativity, passion. You're going to feel more artistic. You suddenly will have a desire for habits. Maybe you're planning to take piano classes, or maybe you want to go to the dancing. You're going to bring more romance. If you are dating or you're in marriage, you will have more urge to bring more romance in your partnership. And if you're looking for somebody, for Taurus, it's actually a good opportunity. But always check in what position Venus, because Venus just coming out from exile, she was really invisible. And then, by end of the August, more, I would say, beginning after 3rd, 4th of September, it's a good time to consider to go on a dating scene. Right now, it's not the best time to meet somebody because Venus is not going to have good support. Therefore, you're not going to have good foundation. What else for you, Taurus? For you, it's trust your creativity instincts. Try to close your eyes and during the meditation, ask yourself what really make you happy. What's really make you, because the 5th house is the really important house for you, because you're a very practical sign. But when you come to the 5th house can combine together your talent and your creativity. And it's actually can really help you with your job place, with your if you're student as well, it's going to help you with your mind, how you receive information. It's a great period of time. Now for Gemini, dear Gemini, for you, Mars going to transit in your 4th house, and remember in your natal chart, Mars it's he's aspecting your 11th house. He's actually in your 11th house, in your 6th house, in your natal chart. So 11th house, it's excellent. When Mars in 11th house, it's about your income, it's about your gains. And the 6th house, again, about your enemies, the conflict. So Mars represent in your natal chart double edge. This is one of the reasons, by the way, many times rising Gemini or moon Gemini, they do have complicated relationship with the siblings, to say the least. It's almost like sometimes you have a conflict with your siblings without even you sometimes can ask yourself, I didn't do really much, how come we have such a disconnect? This is why cosmos in the natal chart always send you siblings. If you have ones, then you need to go extra mile, and not from your comfort zone, from your logic. You will need to go really extra mile to understand your sibling, where they're coming from. And many times it's not easy. Now, because it's going to be aspect in the 4th house, one thing I'm going to mention right away, if there's any conflict at home, a conflict with mom, or anything connected to domestic, even real estate, already been problematic, it can raise a little bit more. But the good news, if it's not, do not start any conflicts. Make sure anything connect to your family, anything connect to real estate, your mom, because your mom can be a little bit affected by this transit in your natal chart. She may will need extra attention, health extra attention, maybe your attention. Maybe you need to take your mom to doctor, or maybe to call a little bit more often, Geminis. So this is really important, because this is governs the home, family, and emotional well-being. And especially Virgo, it can activate some memory for you Geminis. Which is you're gonna try to dig too much and to think, okay, I was hurt, or maybe I was right, they wrong. Don't do that. Just be really focused, especially because it's Yemei Tshuva, and it's a time of repentance. It's really important for the self-reflection. So for you, I really recommend Gemini, do not activate or start or try to clear the air, so to say, from the place of you're the one who the right. It's not gonna work well. So for you, you may feel search of for the energy and emotional support this period of time. I understand. So take action at home, like for example, take a different project. Perhaps you wanted to fix a couple things in your house, to beauty your house, to bring more flowers, to maybe even to paint. It's actually a good thing. So invest nourishment energy in your family relationship. It may also be tendency towards impatience and conflict, even at work. Why? Because Gemini, even in the workplace, they do try to make friendly environment. So you almost, and if you spend more time at work than at home, definitely make sure there's no any conflicts in relationship there. Try to understand. And right now, this cosmic window, it's actually very positive for you. You just need to know what energy you need to pick up. You will be the energy of the fourth house, the mother, ancestral lineage, everything what connect to home will be activated because you're not gonna, so to say, will be affected by this trap. Opposite, you're gonna smile, you're gonna remember. Then now this is the period of time only to work on yourself, and almost like every time anything happen, or you really feel like you want to jump to say, and you're gonna stop for a second, you're gonna pause, you're gonna really rethink. Maybe you need to reward to say the same words but differently and with different energy. You're gonna get different outcome. One thing I will recommend for you with regards to your health for this period of time, because of the cancer represent Cancerian energy, represent breast, represent chest, it represent inside of your heart. It can help you to open your heart even more. And what is the beautiful thing now before Rosh Hashanah is the one of the number one thing we need to work right now. It represent your stomach, it represent your digestive system, your colon system, it's represent your gut feeling as well, inflammation as well, elbow joints, your breathing as well. Meditation extremely important. By end of this video, I'm going to give you a tip about meditation, especially if you do Ana Bekor every morning. If you know what I'm talking about, if not, it's almost under my video as well. It's one of the most powerful meditation prayer we have when we do in the morning, and how to connect to Yudke Vavke, the name of God, when you're going to do meditation. It's going to help you as well. Definitely use this. Now we're going to go further. We're going to go to Cancerians. Now, my beautiful Cancerians, you are you have so much on your shoulders. Always remember that you didn't came here um to do job for other people or to take pain upon yourself. You need to understand what is the really cause and effect, why things happen in the world, why things happening in your life, and don't take things personally. It's really important. Now for Cancerians, it's amazing transit. I'm really happy for you, Cancerians. You really needed this. It's in the third house. And what is the third house? It's communication, learning, your social interactions with other people. And for you guys, it may feel a surge of energy and motivation to express yourself, how you communicate with others, different ideas. Perhaps you want to create a group of people, you want to work with people, you suddenly feel you really want to make a more effort, like engage in social activities. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Because you guys, for some time already, for the last couple of years, because of the transits in Saturn with your 7 and then 8 house now, you've been going through so much, and you almost feel you're in exile. So now this transit Mars in your third house is going to help you tremendously. It's the Gemini house, right? And you have a DNA of Gemini, because the Cancer create by letter Het, and it came from the two letters Zayin and Vav, which is Vav created by Taurus and Zayin created by Gemini. Together is the align the letter, which is create Cancer. So every time when you have an energy of Taurus inside of you or Gemini, it's very positive for you. So definitely, and for you guys as well, you should practice mindful communication, to avoid impulsive, reactive during this transit as well. Don't come from place of emotions. Come from place of total care because you're the masters. You are the teachers. You came to teach all of us what is really real love about, Cancerians. You understand? Now, if your natal chart, you have Mars in Cancer, you always need to put, to pay very close attention to everything what I mentioned for the fourth house, right? You need to always take in care of um, your heart. You always need to care of your digestive system, what you eat. Now, because in the third house for you Cancerians, it's um, it's going to be the most likely you need to really pay close attention to your ears, to your shoulders, to your arms, to your hands, to your right ear, nervous system, because this is what Gemini represent. It's the third house, and patience. Make sure you're going to practice patience, not through your mind, through your heart. Very important. And again, for you considering what is the Mars in your natal chart, it's represent your 10th house, your professional life, your career, your achievement. This is why a lot of people know that one of the reasons many Cancerians, they really when they successful in the career, it's like what they do with the job, with the company, it's mind blowing. People usually happy when they work with them because they give so much nourishment and care, and they're really good in practicality as well, right? And it's teaching you how to be flexible because it represents me and it's a position sign of Capricorn to 10th house as well in your natal chart. It's the Mars sitting in your fifth house as well is trigger your aspect in your fifth house. So it's your children, your intellect, your desire for spirituality with romance. It's really beautiful, right? So just pay attention. The reason I'm making such a deep explanation for you guys, because you need to understand the essence, where it's coming from, what really Mars represents in your natal chart, how you understand the language of Mars, right? Because for all of us, it's really different energy, right? Next, we're gonna go to Leo. Now, my darling Leos, you just finished the transit with Mars. Congratulations. I know it wasn't easy for you, even though Mars usually, blooming in Leos, but this period of time we had so many um, not positive aspects from Neptune as well. This is what's happened with the water in the world, and it's going to continue. I'm going to make another video predictions, not predictions, but explain for you to see what's going to happen by end of this year as well. Now, dear Leo, Mars going to aspect your second house. Now, before I'm going to explain to you the second house for you, you remember in your natal chart, he represents your ninth house and your fourth house. In the ninth house in your natal chart, it represents the spirituality, religiosity. So it's up to you what you choose in spirituality. You strong in both. If Leo spiritual, they really give it all. If they're religious, they really give it all. So it represents both polarities. It represents father figure, mentor. For Leo, it's extremely important the connection with the father figure on different level, mentor or your own father. It represents luck, right? And because it's coming from the house of Sagittarius, it's, you always need to take care of your hips, your legs, your thighs, your knees, your joints, your bones, your hair, your back. Very important. Yoga extremely good for you guys to balance your active energy. In the fourth house, it's your mother. It's everything connect to the happiness, connect to the home. Extremely important. And usually it's challenge for Leos many times because the Mars aspect in the fourth house, they have always interesting relationship with mothers. And now then it's going to aspect on your second house. It's really excellent. It's connect to your financial life. It's your professions, how you making money, self-worth, right? And very important for Leo individuals, you're gonna feel, so to say, urge of motivation. You suddenly feel even more motivation than he was in Leo. So take action, especially on your financial matters because of the second house, right? Manage your asset. and what is really the asset represent for you. If you're going to make any decisions in stocks, it's actually a good period of time, but make sure you're going to use second opinion advice because you're going to make any movement with your money, okay? And what is really self-worth? Second house, I always say the money is connected to sustenance, and sustenance is not just money. Sustenance, it's much more. It's really what is the desire, what is the quality of desire we have, right? What is really food represent for us? What is really represent for us taste for life, our desires, and as well the early family dynamic. So what else we have in the second house? It may also, will have a tendency toward impulsive spending. So make sure you're not gonna spend money and then your partner find out behind the scene. Not gonna be a good outcome for that. So make sure you're using your money on more spiritual level and donate because of the second house. If you're gonna donate, you're gonna have some organization when you always have give you 10% of your income, the outcome from the second house going to be tremendous positive, even more. You will see, and be creative with your finance. Don't put you for unnecessary stress. If you know you make donation, if you know you understand then you don't own anything, the money is just the gift, whatever creativity you're using, because Leo is very creative. No matter what they do, what they touch, it's need to come from the place of excitement, place of creativity. Otherwise the money, they're not going to be happy money. And for Leo, extremely important to have a happy money, right? Very important. What else we have in this? It's neat to practice mindful spending, like I said. Don't be in decision you make, and as well, because it does represent the justice system, the truth. Make sure you're not stubborn for no reason. Okay, very very important. And Taurus represent the right eye. It's represent throat. It's represent neck chakras. Like I said, it's represent our mouth as well. What comes from our mouth and what we put inside of our mouth, equally important, right? It's represent our teeth and it represent our gums. Very important. There's a holistic way to take care of. Usually when I do my clients chart, you guys know I recommend for you different herbs. And if I can see you have some complication, this is very important as well to use a few natural medicine for your gums as well on daily basis. You can do, you can take every morning, you can prepare, always have this prepare in a container. You don't have to do every time. You put Himalayan salt or gray salt. I feel the gray salt, it's even better in the water, just really, really pinch. And you put few drops of I would say clove, the clove oil, little bit, few drops, shake it well, and every morning make rings with your gums. The outcome, it's unbelievable. It's improve the smell from your mouth. It will straighten your gums, and as well will have a good environment for your teeth. For this period of time, I definitely recommend. And what else we have here? We have here on the I said neck chakras, I said mouth, teeth, gums, and gullet. Very, very important for you. Okay, guys, so I wish you good luck. Definitely make sure you're using money wisely and don't spend unreasonably. Okay, it's really important. Now, we're going to Virgo. For you, dear Virgos, it's actually in your first house. Very exciting for you. And I hope you're going to use this opportunity, right? Because for Virgo, while it's Mars in your first house, it's going to bring and increase a lot of energy for you. You're going to have a lot of more motivation than usual. It's like a assertiveness. And for you as well, you will take action on personal goals, self-improvement. You will, your own individuality will improve. You suddenly will see yourself in more playful way, but in same time you will take yourself seriously. So it's like you need to balance between, don't go too crazy. I feel Virgos will have even more desire to really to change their appearance. And sometimes Virgo, even though they're so occupied on other people's looks and how clean they are, so many Virgos can neglect the fashion part. So I think it's a good to bring new colors, maybe new haircut, to dress up with many colors. Sometimes Virgo missing this. So I do recommend, especially when it's going to be in your first house. It's a tendency toward being overcritical or perfectionist. So this is one thing about the Mars in the first house for you. You have to be really stay away, especially now when we going through the time of repentance, of self-reflection. This is the only challenge I see for Virgo this period of time. You can become a little bit overcritical about yourself. Make sure you're aware of that. Don't make this mistake. Love yourself, accept yourself. And while you love and accept yourself, what is the better way to transform yourself? We don't need to change anything. We don't need to fix. I would say, I don't believe in fixing things. Fix never gonna work, or cut something, or neglect. Only transformation. And what is the best way to transform? You accept in yourself, you love yourself, and while you're going through your transformation, you see all the positive aspect why you need to transform. Because it's in Aries, in house of Aries, in the first house, it represents, longevity, vitality, total health. So your appearance, your your head, make sure if there's any headaches before you taking pills, do breathing meditation. There's so many I recommend, especially every time when we have any important planet in the first house. Number one, I recommend to learn how to breathe, because the first house always activating the self, the head, the nervous system, um, our ego as well. So it's going to help, to pause before we act is always the best medicine. This is, I can sign for it. What else we need to pay attention? Definitely head in your headaches, your brain, your or chokhmah, your face, your skull, very important. So another thing I recommend, when you wake up in the morning, before you touch your devices, before you start with your routine, make sure you will go outside and have a natural light, the light of really early, fresh energy. And remember this moment through the day. Every time you feel you're going out of alignment, you feel a little bit you're overwhelmed because of your own homework you're doing for yourself, make sure the moment of your morning moment, when you wake up, when everything calm, everything balanced, try to come back to this moment. You remember, our thoughts create reality. It's really important. Just remind you, Virgos, on your natal chart, you have Mars in your third house, which is represent, courage, bravery, represent your siblings. It's the house of Gemini, and as well your eighth house, another house of longevity. It's a house of Scorpio. So make sure you understand. It's another one of the reasons Virgos sometimes have a hard time not to be critical, because the Mars it has a tremendous energy in the eighth house in your natal chart. So this is why it's make you a little bit overcritical because of that. So just pay attention to that. Okay, so wish you good luck. Now, for Libras. Libras, for you, Mars going to be in the 12th house. And you know what? Don't forget, we have you Libras right now, under radar in the cosmic energy because of the Ketu, the North Node in you, right? And it's going to be stay there until almost like a middle of October. So still a lot of homework to do. But you've been such a trooper, Libras, because for you it's so liberating. For the next 18 years, you receive your own homework from your Ketu. Now, because it's in the 12th house, it's going to impact your spirituality, your inner reflection, because the 12th house is the house of the mystical spirituality, and it may feel search of energy to engage in spiritual practice, in spiritual conversation, to take salutate and to engage in inner reflection. And this is the perfect time as well, right? And this transit as well can bring, highest self-awareness because of the 12th house. Definitely have enough sleep. For you, it's really important, because this house because it's gonna bring so much self-awareness and desire for deep introspective introspection, I would say. This is why your own body will need more healing time. And one of the best healing during the transit in 12th house is to have a good sleep. So try to go sleep before moon active, so before 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock for this period of time, if you can go to already be in the bed with the book, with no devices, with no serious conversation, no news, just make for yourself this period of time and let me know. You will see tremendous change in your health and your nervous system because you guys sensitive people, Libras, no matter how strong you can appear to other world and how organized in your nature, deep inside you insecure, you always care really what people think about you, if everyone happy, how to satisfy everyone, and many times you neglecting yourself. So the 12th house would require from you extra attention, especially it's in the body part. Because of the Pisces, it represents left eye, so pay attention how you look at the things, not from the place of luck. Your lymphatic system, it represents your spine, your feet, your teeth. Make sure you have a good, healthy walks, maybe in the morning, maybe evenings. It's going to be really, really good for you. You're going to balance Mars in 12th house. As soon you feel a little bit like a low energy, I recommend for you guys, use your feet because the 12th house represents feet. Go for a walk or dance in front of the mirror. It's excellent. Or take dancing classes. You're going to activate Mars in such a balanced way. You're going to have amazing outcome, right? Because remember, when it's in the 12th house, it should balance between to be alone time and social interactions. Okay, so it's important to be alone this period of time. Don't It's actually a good period of time when you feel you want to be alone, when you feel you want to really to have to understand who you are, but from balanced way, not from place of depression or I can't stand people. No, it's not gonna. It's light will take you out and drop you in a location or places or with people where you feel most uncomfortable. We cannot run from our tikkun, from our correction, what we came to work. We came to work with the energy, but because it's in the 12th house, I do recommend for you guys to, yes, to take time to be alone, yes, to have a time to for the self-reflection. It's actually going to help you. Okay, I wish you good luck. One thing I didn't mention for you, because in your natal chart, I'm still talking about Libras. In your natal chart, remember Mars aspect in your seventh house, which is your own house, of Libra. And this is why relationship is always the most important thing for Libra, because Libra represents seventh house and Mars. So Libras came to this world to learn what is to be in a relationship, what is really partnership, at work partnership, and as well in personal relationship. And by the way, many times male Libras, they more have a female friends than actually male friends. And one of the reasons, because they feel more secure, more accepted. But I do recommend, especially for the male Libras, if you have a strong Libra in your chart, to seek for the friendship with the male, to fight, to straight the male relationship, whoever you can connect, or if you have a friends, to connect even more. And another thing you have in your natal chart is the second house Mars aspecting, which is your family, your wealth. This is why Libras, they have amazing taste. They appreciate good food. They have a amazing, because of the second house, it's your Lord house as well. You almost like have a double energy of Venus. This is why Libra people even more Venetian than actually Taurus people, I would say. Okay, so I wish you guys good luck. Next one, we have Scorpios. Now, Scorpios, for you guys, it's an 11th house. It's actually really excellent for you. I'm really happy for you, Scorpio. Um, Mars is your Lord. Mars, it's one of the most important planets for you. You have beside the Mars, you have a Pluto, and Mars and Pluto always communicate with each other. But very good, then you have right now transit in 11th house. What is really transit in 11th house for you guys? It's friendship, it's social connections, is future goals. Scorpio, you guys may feel search of energy and motivation to engage in group activities, network, pursue long-term goals. It's so good for you. Scorpions, you're gonna be the champions. Use the period of time. You're gonna have so many successful results. Just as well, just make sure you balance when you talk to people. Um, Don't just make sure they know what you feel and what you want. Make sure they understand and you care what they think and what they want. Very important. It may also be a tendency towards some conflicts or power struggle. This is what kind of I want to warn you, because of the 11th house. It's we're talking about the community, we're talking about friendship, right, and a social circle. So Mars can bring a tendency and assertiveness. So use this in a balanced way. What another thing for you guys, it's need to practice diplomacy when it's going to be in 11th house, because it's the house of community, right? Avoid power struggle. I really want to repeat this, because during this struggle, during this transit, the power struggle will come up, because there are going to be a lot of people you will need to interact, and you will need to deal with this energy. And Scorpio, because you're really the best to give people orders as well, and you always know what is the best. And I'm not saying you're not right, but it's not always working when you're with people. You need to consider other people. When it's going to be in the 11th house and is the house of huge success, don't replace this big potential success with power struggle. This is my message for you, okay? Very important, because you're going to be really, really successful on the long term. It's like a focus on constructive in social interaction. It's going to really, really help you in the long term, I'm telling you. Now, because 11th house represent Aquarius, on the physical body, you need to pay attention on your calves, your left ear, your arm, your circulation system, definitely your legs, your teeth, and your ankles. So don't run this period of time too much. If you're a runner, I recommend this period of time, do more balance exercise, walking. You can do quick walk. Definitely yoga. You're going to do Ashtanga yoga, which is more heavy yoga. It's going to be really, really help you. And just to remind you, in your natal chart, Mars in the 6th house, it's like Virgos have in their natal chart Scorpio energy of Mars, and you Mars have a Virgo. This is why you're critical many times, because your Mars in the on top of it, your own Lord, it's actually in your natal chart in the 6th house and your 1st house, right? So obviously, I want to remind for Scorpions, because you're such a big souls, you have your foundation, it's esoteric. You don't see things all like obvious. You want to go deep. You want to understand what is the life and death, how it's going to operate in extreme, not just when it's everything good. You officers, you generals. So, but because we live with people, we need to combine the energy and we need to consider others. So just wanted to remind you this. So guys, otherwise it's going to be unbelievable transit for you. Just make sure, please, you consider other people and you not overwhelm yourself or other people with your own energy. Okay. Good luck to you guys. Next one, we have Sagittarius. Now, for you, Sagittarius, it's going to be transit in the 10th house. Excellent. Excellent. Because, one of the best position for Mars, it's to be in the 10th house. When your natal chart, people have Mars in 10th house or in Capricorn, this is like, it's one of my favorite. This, you have unbelievable potential to achieve things, financial, and to bring better things for the society, even on the higher level. Very important. So just to remind you, Sagittarius, quickly, in your nature, in your natal chart, Mars, it's in you, represent the energy of the 5th house and 12th house, completely opposition, right? The 5th house is children, it's intellect, it's the energy of Leo, it's romance, it's higher desire, and the 12th house. The 12th house, it's, is the house of losses, behind the scene, concealment. And so you need to work with all this completely opposite energy. But the good news about your natal chart, because the 12th house is the Pisces, which is represent your Lord as well, right? Jupiter and you Jupiter. So you learn how to work with energy of Pisces, even though it's water, because of your high spirituality. You Sagittarius, when you have rising moon Sagittarius, or even Mars in Sagittarius, it's the best people to have around for the party, to work on the big foundations, big organizations. In your spirituality, you look always for the high qualities of everything. When you believe in spirituality, you know is the only way. So now Mars transit in your 10th house. Let's come back to the transit. You feel the urge of motivation to take action in your career goals, your assets, in the assert in the authority as well. You will have a more desire to find the guru, teacher, mentor. Good time to connect to your teacher if you have one, and you're not being consistent. It's will make you progress in your professional life big time. However, I want to mention there may also be tendency toward being overly critical or impatience because of the 10th house at the workplace, specifically in the workplace, which can create conflicts. So remember, Sagittarius, while Mars in your 10th house and gonna activate so many ideas and literally green light in your work, in your achievement, while you're gonna run to your achievement, remember you have people around you. Always pay attention. Don't neglect them. Don't shut them down. Don't just give them. Perhaps you're right, especially if you're in a superior position and you have young people who work for you. I always tell people, if you have opportunity, you have a schut, we say in Hebrew, the merit to be the mentor, to be the employee of younger people, younger generation. You're the representative for them, how they're going to build the world to come after you will be gone. So make sure you not criticize them that quickly, or your expectation of them. Spend the time, be the real mentor, give them love and patience, show them, then they can believe in themselves. This is what really activates the 10th house, because real leadership, in order for achieve and to create real success in company, it's when we really know how to show the nourishment and love to people who work under us. Very, very important. I will give you, I'm not stranger to that. I don't know if you know, I'm not stranger to what I'm saying. Some of you who knows my journey, I built few big companies in my life. I had hundreds of people, employees who used to work for me. I provide employment for a lot of people, and I had people who, in the medical field, very high achievement, in the legal team who used to work on my companies. I used to have many factory on the cold press juice. Some of you know I built medical facilities. I have a lot of different people, and I love to work with young people. I have a lot of people who they first workplace was working in my place, and I felt huge level of responsibility always. And definitely Kabbalistic knowledge helped me even more to understand. So just to remind you guys, same thing in our home. Anyone who are children, even our parents, we can abuse the power we have within us. Opposite, we always have to show so much love and mercy. At the same time, discipline. If because we still need to have out results, right? So we need to learn how to combine those things together. Okay. So I wish you guys good luck, all the best, dear Sagittarius. Next one, we have a Capricorn. Now, Capricorn for you is going to be transit in 9th house. Just to remind you, in your natal chart, Mars is represent your 4th house and 11th house. The 4th house, it's the happiness in home, and it's a position of you Cancerian energy. So this is why I always say you Cancerian and Capricorn, you have much more in common than you think. By the way, one of the best marriages can be, it's actually Cancerians with Capricorns, because you guys came to learn from each other, but at the same time, Capricorn came to be flexible is the earth, and Cancerian is the water of the water to nourish. So if you know how to work with this energy, it's unbelievable. So therefore, in your natal chart, you came to already to understand how to bring peace to your home, and not to be superior because you're at work, superior, to come back home and to feel to make everyone feel comfortable. And it's 11th house, the house of gains, the house of income. One of the reasons, another thing, the Capricorn so successful many times, and they understand the quality of the money because of the Mars aspect in the 11th house, the natal chart. And it's a house of gains. I always call, 11th house is the happy house. So it's kind of bring them happiness in the work environment. One of the reasons, right? Now let's come back to your transit. For you, Capricorn, it's going to be in the ninth house. What is really ninth house for you? It's, areas of higher education, travel, philosophy, understanding spirituality from the community perspective, not just from the logical and books on the practical level. For you, you will feel urge of energy and motivation to expand your horizon, engage in learning or teaching even because of the ninth house. It's explore new perspective of the world. It's really excellent. Definitely use, because remember, our biggest assets and the only assets we have in this world right now, our time always has been, but now more than ever, it's our spirituality, our consciousness. And what is the best to have Mars in the ninth house to activate this energy? Okay, it's also, will bring the tendency toward being over critical and dogmatic in certain ways. So stay away of that, Capricorn, like I said, which can create conflicts in learning journey as well. So because of the ninth house Mars, you just can finish only part of the book and you can think you already know the whole book. No, be patient, continue learning, continue with your journey before you're going to do the conclusions. Okay, and the ninth house represent on the physical body, it represent hips because of the Sagittarius, right? Legs, thighs, your knees. And by the way, you in your natal chart, it's represent knees as well, which is one of the reasons you need to know how to be flexible, to bend, to ask for forgiveness when it's necessary, and to humble yourself. Very important. It represents joints, bones, hair, and your back as well because of the Sagittarius. Okay, so pay close attention to those body parts. Otherwise, it's excellent transit for you. Good luck to you, Capricorn. All the best. Now, next one, we're going to have Aquarius. Now, for you, dear Aquarius, it's going to be in your eighth house. So Mars transit in your eighth house. So let me first remind you from your natal chart what's happened. What is the nature of Mars for you in your natal chart when you're born? Yeah, Mars, it's in the third house and it's in the 10th house. So this is one of the reasons, what is the third house? Third house, again, is the bravery, it's courage, it's siblings. And this is one of the reasons, by the way, you in Gemini, you have amazing understanding between each other because you have Mars in sign of Gemini. And in the 10th house, your professional life, your career, your achievement, one of the reasons Aquarius so good in the public to put people together, because the Mars, it's in the natal chart in the 10th house. But in the same time, they came to learn what really money represents for them. And it's okay to be spiritual and rich. There's nothing wrong with that, right, Aquarius? Really, really important. Now, let's come back to the transit. For you guys, it's going to be in the 8th house. It's house of Scorpio. And when it's in the 8th house, it's all about areas of sharing the sources, intimacy, the transformation. It's all about transformation. It's going to be amazing for you. After this transit, you're going to become even more spiritual. Can you imagine if it's even possible? So for the Aquarius, it's will feel surge of energy and motivation to act in financial matters, by the way, as well. Deeper, you're going to have a deeper connection, what really money represents for you and how you can help other people to make more money. You almost will feel like you made it money. It's amazing because when you hear and you already have this understanding, this is your nature. You already know 8th house, Mars in 8th house going to help you even more to understand to help other people in a good place, to help other people to have a better life, to improve their professional life. You feel so much joy from it because this is the society, this is the better world, right? Of course, our society is right now going through such a huge transformation. What does really money represent for us? How much money we really need, and how much food we should eat, and how sharing we can be, and how in instant moment we can lose everything what you have, and how much no attachment. So the 8th house can help you as well to understand on a much deeper level what is the sustenance of other people represent and how to avoid any unnecessary attachment. Is the house of deep intimacy. And remember, for you guys, one-on-one relationship is a little bit challenging for Aquarius in general. So this 8th house will require from you to dig for intimacy, to understand what is to be intimate, how to When you talk to somebody, when the other person talk to you, especially your partner, you really pay attention. This is the number one sharing for you. When you really know how to pay attention, this is another way of giving, to be givers, you will need to practice healthy communication. It's really important because of the eighth house. Cooperation, the partnership for the eighth house, very important, and this transit, please avoid to be impulsive or reactive in your behavior because of the eighth house. Pay attention to your production organ, to sexuality. When the Mars in eighth house, suddenly the urge and desire for sexuality, nothing wrong, just make sure it's not going to be suddenly or somebody, it's your partner. You're using the level of restriction, you understand what sex can bring. Can sex bring life and it's destroy, right? It's really really powerful tool, so you make sure you understand, because there's a lot of diseases can come from sex. And because it's going to be in your eighth house, one of the parts in your body you need to pay attention, it's your pelvis, your production organ, it's really important, your colon system, um your prostate, very important. And definitely your reactive system, very very important, because of this time of your reactive system, you can lose the opportunity of the eighth house to understand what is really transformation for you. I strongly recommend for you guys. Okay, so what else we have here for you guys, for Scorpios? um just to for Aquarius in the eighth house. For you Aquariuses, I always want to remind you, in the zodiac system, you're the only sign who has most sacred degrees of the whole zodiac system. It's river of life. Even though you don't have maybe in your chart really touching the degrees of river of life, I always talk in many of my videos. We're talking about between it's exactly 20 degrees, but we're talking between 18 and 22 degrees. You really, you came from the world of very high understanding of the creation. You almost like used to be the right hand of the creator, with this type of energy. So when you have such a high understanding, it's not always easy to be between people who still in the process of growth. So be patient with other people, and especially now with Mars in eighth house. Okay, I wish you all the best. Oh, by the way, your food habits and your taste habits going to be increased because of the eighth house. So just make sure you don't eat too late at night, because when it's Mars in the eighth house, through my research and through the ancient books, it's usually activate desire to eat at night, because it's the night planet. Mars, it's represent night energy, right? Especially if you have a day planet, so it can challenge you a little bit. Okay, so if you did chart with me, you know what I'm talking about. There's a Mars very very important, how it's active in your own chart. Now for you Pisces, for you guys, it's going to be in the seventh house. And let's understand what is really Mars energy in your natal chart, because in your natal chart, it's in your second house, in your ninth house. And the second house, the early family dynamic. This is why many times Pisces people really, really connect to the childhood. They almost like anything happen in childhood, it's the trap. It can be the trap for Pisceans, how they see the world. This is why, especially for Pisces, when they do chart and you have a moon or rising or sun in Pisces, and it depends on what location, there's a really deep secret about your connection between you and your mom and your mother ancestral lineage, very important. So now then you have, oh, and it's in your ninth house, which is excellent. This is the house of high spirituality. And when you have a Mars in ninth house, this is why Pisces understands spirituality in such a deep level. It's almost like not earthy level. It's like, Pisces is one of the signs which is represent a color black. And when you look at the sky, it's everything black, everything mystical. But the only way for us to see cosmic objects, it's only through the black foundation, right? And this is why Pisces, they know how to be behind the scene in dark and see the light. Very, very powerful Pisces. It's you need a special skill to know how to navigate to be Pisces in this world. And one of the reasons, by the way, Pisces, especially a woman, females, they're really amazing businesswomen because of the second house aspect. They combine the intuition, the spirituality together, and this is the best way to make money, by the way. Now, let's come back to the transit. For you guys, it's going to be in the seventh house. Now, seventh house, it's all about partnership, relationships, the contracts between people, and especially even the past life contracts as well. By the way, for you Pisces, with you, it's nothing obvious. We always need to go more deep. So it may feel urge of motivation to take action in your partnership, in your relationship, your romantic, your professional as well. The assert in your boundaries. What kind of boundaries you have? Are you constantly giver, giver, giver? Do you know how to receive? Because to give and to share, it's two different things. So the seventh house in Pisces will require of you to understand the partnership. It's all about, it's the tango of two. It's about the partnership, how you really hear each other. What is really communication? What kind of boundaries you have? Are you someone too much givers, and then you're not receiving back equally what you gave, and many times it's a big trap. It has nothing to do with spirituality. Make sure you give unconditional. Don't have any expectation. If you partner, the best way to teach our partners is from our own example. And if you see your partner not open, maybe perhaps it's the time for you really to sit and to have serious conversation. And Mars can help you, but just make sure you're not coming from place of passive aggressive, which is Pisces really know how to be passive aggressive. Now, when Mars going to be right now in the seventh house, it can be bring different kick to your communication. Like you can be more daring. Maybe it's a good thing for you Pisces, but make sure you're coming from place of diplomacy. You understand, and you come in order to include both people in the conversation, not only what is your pain. And don't come place from pain, which is another thing Pisces knowing for. Come from place of happiness, because then remember, your sign represent Purim, one of the most important holiday, which is we're gonna have during the final redemption. So connect to the energy of happiness. It's hard for Pisces. While Pisces represent happiness, is the month of Ma'adim B'Simcha. At the same time, it's hard for Pisces many times to be happy. You understand this? This is the contradiction of the energies we receive. We came here to learn how to transform everything and how to do the tango with energy we came. Now, the seventh house, very important for you to pay attention to your private parts, your glands, your lower back, your renal system as well, your adrenaline, your kidneys, and your breathing system as well, because of the seventh house, right? It's really important for your kidneys as well. So therefore, while Mars going to be in your seventh house, one of the recommendation I want to make for you, if you feel you're hurt, somebody hurt your feeling, don't do like shop close, nobody home. This is what Pisces and Cancerians are known for. It. Don't create any movie. Pause for a second. Make sure you restrict. You're not coming from place of lack and pain. Ask person. Maybe you misunderstood, because Pisces can misunderstood other people, and make sure you understood the message and share how you feel. This is the best way to go with this. You're going to have such a best result. And if you're in a partnership, this is the period of time can take your partnership to the next level, or you will need to separate completely. This is the seventh house. This is the Mars in seventh house. He's going to create a lot of movement. Anything connect to your partnership. Is a personal partnership relationship, it's work relationship. What is your communication skills? How you know how to navigate? What is the how you navigate between few people at the same time? It's a big responsibility, especially you're such a spiritual beings. So always remember that, guys. Very, very important. Now, what I want us to leave with this message, guys. We can only talk about Mars, right? Mars is extremely important planet. Like I mentioned, is the planet of our physical body, planet of our active energy, planet of our desire, or ratzon. And it's all about what is the ratzon, desire. Are we here to desire to receive for the self alone, or we here to receive in order to share? This is where the life energy coming from. Because when we only want to desire to receive for self alone is the stuck energy. Eventually, we're not going to be happy, benefit from it. The only thing we can benefit, number one, we always can remember nothing belongs to us. Nothing, not even our body. It was really borrowed by our soul in order for us to practice here creator, to overcome certain klipot, certain tikkun, certain incarnation process we came. We'll have our homework. We don't need to stuck with initial homework we came here. We can finish now and to start completely new page. This is the time we're entering. And as well, I'm always going to mention what's going to happen in 2025. It's going to be big, big changes. We still have a time to be prepared and to embrace what's coming. Okay. So, guys, I want to wish you many blessings. Good luck with the preparation of the months of repentance, tshuva. I wish all of us to get everything what the Creator prepared for us. And we say in Aramaic, in Hebrew, this expression we say when somebody really open and ready for the total transformation and have total trust in creation, you can say itaruta delatata, which is in order to receive from beyond what you're supposed to receive. But first you have to say hineni sholcheni. There I am, take me. When you really come from total trust, you need to be prepared to almost like a zoom out and observe what's happened before you're going to be involved, okay? And then you're going to receive itaruta della tata. You're going to receive beyond what you're supposed to receive, because this is the work we came to do. Okay, guys, I wish you many blessings. Much love to you. Can wait to hear from you. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, perhaps to share with your friends if you feel this information can be beneficial to your friends and your family and anyone who you know. Okay, all the best to you. Bye bye.